guys! So, remember when I promised you a video on Sunday? Sorry about that, but I'm back! And I have another review. This time it's an exhibition review of Shakespeare in 10 Acts at the British Library. And this year marks the 400th anniversary since Shakespeare's death. And as a English literature and drama student, I enjoy Shakespeare, and I kind of have to, because he comes up in half my A-level subjects. So, but I feel like the amount you're exposed to him growing up, like, even if it's in the littlest of ways, you grow to love at least one of his plays, if not more, and I do really enjoy watching his plays. I know it can sometimes be a task if you have to read it, but that's not what they were intended to do. So if you've been made to read Othello or Macbeth in English class and you've not actually had the chance to watch it, don't hate on Shakespeare, because that's not what he wanted his plays to be done as. They were written to be performed, and if you don't see them performed, I feel like you lose a lot. But that's a whole thing for another video. This is about the exhibition. And so it's called Shakespeare in 10 Acts because it takes 10 either themes or something that was going on in history, either for Shakespeare or just to do with the rest of England. And it will explore that theme or whatever, but it will also include a lot of Shakespeare's ideas. And I feel like I want to talk about space because I did so much in my last British Library review. Because this is in 10 acts, they split the room. It's not one room. They split it into 10 distinct areas, which I feel like it's the most I've felt it's been done in different rooms. Usually you go down the steps after the kind of introduction area, and for the most part, the first area you come to is really spread out. You can wander through it, but this time it was 10 distinct areas, and each area had a different colour scheme, and it was the most distinct I think it's been, and that really worked well for the exhibition. I don't think it was the most imaginative thing they've done, like especially in comparison with the comic book and the Gothic and Terror exhibitions, which were just so immersive. But I think it worked really well for this particular exhibition, and I feel like it would have been really hard to do something as extravagant as those two unless you were to like turn it into some form of playhouse, which I don't think would have worked as well. One of the rooms in particular, like I said, they all had colour schemes, and one of the rooms, I'll just find which one it was the Revolution of the Times room, which was Act 10, if you will, if you want to think of it, each room as the act that it refers to in the title of the exhibition. And it looked a lot at Peter Brooks's A Midsummer Night's Dream, which is a version of it I didn't know much about before the exhibition. I didn't know anything about. I lied. And A Midsummer Night's Dream is one of my favourite Shakespeare plays. I feel like where it was the first one I was exposed to, I just have a real connection. And I've always loved fantasy and fairies, which it's all about that stuff. And Peter Brooks stripped everything away from A Midsummer Night's Dream. He said it in, like, the set was just a white box, really, and with this feather swing, and the swing was there. That was cool. A feather swing, and then the costumes were just kind of robes, which were all one block colour. So like Titania was in green and Oberon purple, and it was just, there's a little picture here, right there, and that was it. And he stripped it all completely, and for this room they put it in this white box that looked like all the pictures they had around, and I feel like that did feel immersive, especially in comparison to the rest of the rooms. It felt like you had stepped into this version of the play, and like my dad said that when we got into the room, and he went, but it wasn't exactly hard to recreate because it was simply a white box. I'm not sure it's something I would have done if I myself directed a Midsummer Night's Dream, but it's definitely an interesting way to look at it. And throughout the exhibition as well, they had costumes and props from different performances, and one of the ones that was most, I feel like it was really impressive to me, was they had something from Ariel in The Tempest, just this kind of set of wings almost, and it was hung over this section that was talking about the Tempest, and it was huge. I can't imagine how the actor wore it, and the way they had it kind of almost swooping over this section was just really impressive, and yeah, I really liked that. So yeah, I think the way the information was all laid out, the way it connected to a theme, it was a really great exhibition. It was really interesting, and yeah, if you are studying Shakespeare or you just really like Shakespeare, I definitely recommend getting down to see it, especially any of you that are doing GCSEs or A-levels at the moment. I know it's kind of the end of the year, but if you know next year you'll be studying something from Shakespeare, I definitely recommend going to see it, because for me, I'm studying Othello for my English A-level, and that will be across both years, and there was a lot on Othello that I could read and use for whatever I wanted, and then I also studied Twelfth Night in drama this year, which although I won't be doing again next year, it was really interesting just to see what they spoke about and what I knew from my knowledge already. They also showed a clip of the one that was done at the Globe, I think it was 2002, where they went back to the traditional style, and it was all male actors, and like it made it even funnier as a comedy. And I'd seen a bit of it in drama, and they had a longer clip that was showing in one of the rooms, so I got to watch that. And yeah, I feel like it would definitely be really helpful if you're studying Shakespeare, but if you do also just really like Shakespeare, I'd recommend going to see it, because there's a lot of information that either on the history of Shakespeare, on different adaptations, which for me I preferred the stuff on adaptations, but for others you may prefer the history side, and there's a lot on both, so it's a really good exhibition. Give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. If you've been to the exhibition, let me know in the comments what you thought of it. Share this video with your friends so everyone can see it. Check out my social network links, they'll be in the description as usual. And most importantly, if you want to see more videos like this, remember to subscribe. Bye!